Jó napot kívánok, Isten hozta, bună ziua. Welcome to a tiny little village in the middle of Transylvania. We speak Hungarian here, and it's Romania. And this estate, which I'm going to show you now, is owned by the Kálnoky family, an old Transylvanian aristocratic family. My name is Tibor Kálnoky. The special part of this estate is that it is scattered all over an entire village. Not only one manor, which you will see at the end, but also very beautiful parts of the village itself. And our family project is to revive the village and to make it sustainable for the future. I will show you around the houses, the guest houses, where we usually welcome guests from all over the world. And while we're going from one house to the other, I'll also tell you a little bit about the historic background. So right now we are sitting in one of the social spaces for our guests in one of the houses in the village. It's still a bit chilly, so that's why I have my pullover, and we have fire in the chimney, in the fireplaces. In our places, you will have a look around here, perhaps just once around. As you will notice, there is nothing modern here, so there's no IKEA, and we just try to revive all the old objects and the antiques. It's full of painted furniture. And now I shall show you the wine cellar. So we are also having a restaurant here, but it's all very much private. I mean, private atmosphere, nothing feels commercial. I'll precede you into the wine cellar. It's a bit dark down here, so you might need a bit of time to accommodate the eyes. Here we also have a billiard room. Fireplace in the middle of the room, and this is where we usually have common dinners, or we had common dinners before COVID struck. This table is much larger. Usually we're about 12 people on the table. Now it's smaller, and there are little tables a little bit everywhere to accommodate the new sanitary requirements. Now we will leave through the secret trap door and go to the kitchen. Maybe if you go first. The way we renovate our houses is with the old material and most of the old skills. So we have a whole crew of workers who have been working with us for the last 20 years and who are very good at keeping those traditions alive. Here is the kitchen and the breakfast barn. Our guests just had breakfast, as you can see. So in the winter, this is very cozy, with a little séparé here, and this is also where some of our guests can have lunch. Those who come to visit the castle, they come up here. They can have something for lunch. Now we go to a little wooden cottage. So the interesting part of our estate is that you have absolutely every kind of real estate building, from this little blue house that you see in front of us, which is a serf's house, And the serfs were only allowed to live in, to use the color blue. And so from the small, wait a moment, by the way, do you hear what I'm saying? Yes? Okay. So the serfs were only allowed to use the blue color. You can see the guests are already enjoying the first days of spring. And so this is a typical serf's house. Maybe if you go in front it might be easier, and then I'll join you inside. Open the door for you. So this is one of our traditional guest rooms. With painted furniture, and everything is original and antique. Even the bed covers are about 200 years old, and everything is taken care of with great love and passion. And we hope that our guests also do the same when they stay with us. Everything is comfortable with a bathroom. So modern comfort, but in style, together with the traditional atmosphere. So this is one part of our estate, and now we will also show you the village pub. Here now at the pub, we're trying to cater for everybody, not only for guests who come to the guest houses or people who come to the museum, also for village people, and all our guests are very welcome here in this little medieval quarter, as it looks like, with lots of terraces and little corners and séparés where people can sit out when it's nice, which is very welcome now in the pandemic. Global warming, unfortunately, is taking its toll, so we decided to adapt one of the estate's horse sleighs into this little bench, which is very welcome with kids who come to stay with us. They're more agile than me, I'm sure. And here we can go inside the pub. After you. So here you see quite a cozy atmosphere. It's a little bit dark, but all the more cozier and warm. Now each house has its own story in the village, and this is one of the very old houses. You see it's out of stone, and usually the story of the houses are written in the main beams. This house here has two beams that are inscripted. If you can have a look up here, the first says that this house was built by Ištvan and his wife in 1810. The second beam, interestingly, says that it burnt down in 1816, so only 6 years later, and was rebuilt within a few months. So you will see all the houses in this village have the date of construction in the main beams, and we now add also the main restoration data, so who restored it and the date of the restorations. Here we are arriving into the bar of the pub, where I will receive, thank you Tibor, as our manager, and I receive a little glass of wine, which is much needed right now. This is also a reception where everybody arrives. Out onto the terraces again. Outside we have carriages waiting for visitors and our guests. And from here, after I had my wine, we can go on to another part of the village with very nice houses and where you can also see work under construction, and then the manor. So here we're at one of our restoration sites, so that you can see what the houses look like before we take care of them. Here we're just cleaning the old tiles, which will be put back on the roof. This is one of the old houses, log houses, which will be renovated. And on the other side of the street, you'll see the ready houses. And unfortunately, the guests are always parking outside. You have to shoo them away and tell them to park in other parts. Here you see the facades. This one is from 1850, the beautiful old wooden gates. And inside are the guest rooms. After you. So this is one of the quiet courtyards. We have six rooms here, and I can quickly show you one of the rooms, but I also see that our little owls are up here. Maybe if you can try to zoom on the baby owls that are living in this tree. One of them used to come down to get fed, even as the parents are taking care of them, but one of them is very intelligent and came down to get a little bit more to eat. So here's one of the typical guest rooms again. Follow me, please. If you look over there, the original wood-burning stove. This is also at least 200 years old. Painted furniture, old beds, but with new comfort, with mattresses. This table here is also about 300 years old, so only antiques and refurbished old furniture. Good. And now it's time to go at last to the manor. So here we are at last at the manor grounds. I hope you can hear me because I'm competing with the frogs. They're very excited right now. So historically this is the oldest village of the region, which is called the Székla land. Széklas are Hungarian people who arrived here in the High Middle Ages. Our family was documented as the chieftain of the Széklas back in 1252, and we've been around ever since. This is a Renaissance manor house, a hunting manor that we built in the 1640s. And you see the nice exterior decorations which we could restore. The beautiful stone carvings, and the park could also be restored more or less. This is now a museum because we wanted to show an ex-communist country what the interiors of a castle might have looked like. from here, this is the old main entrance. You see the French garden as it was in 1600, described in 1698. And you see the gazebo, which had a double function, which was a sort of a defense mode, but also a decorative element of the garden. So, we're in the manor. The family's motto is carved in stone, non est mortale producto. And now, after you. Inside the manor, we tried to recreate the atmosphere of what it might have looked like when it was lived in. It's wagon style, meaning that one hall opens into the other, and the bedrooms could only be established in the towers, like this one here, with the nice old door frames. Very special are the wood burning stoves, which were recreated after the bits and pieces that we found at archaeological digs, and we recreated these stoves. They are working, and they have been recreated with exactly the same techniques as originally in the 17th century. This is the main palace hall where the judge was making jurisdiction. Over there is a portrait of my 9 times great-grandfather Tibor Kálnoky, who was the Chancellor of Transylvania. Here again, a very, very beautiful stove replica from the early 17th century. You'll also find very nice stucco decorations inside of the windows. This room here was the room of the lady of the manor, where she had a nice balcony to make handcrafts. The next hall is the room of the lord of the manor, which was last inhabited by my great-grand-uncle, who is depicted on that portrait there. He was a great hunter, and he initiated 9 duels and survived them all. He was a bit of a choleric. And then here the last salon is the Altdeutsch salon, so end of the 19th century Victorian style, you would say, in England. So very heavily carved, yet very comfortable furniture. And again, in the tower, a lovely bedroom. Personally, I always like the cellars best, so let's have a look downstairs. Below stairs, the kitchen. Follow me. Take care of the head. So we arrive to the kitchen quarters. Where we recreated the old kitchen with everything is functional, so the bread oven here and this cooking oven is also working with wood. And from here we go into the main room of the cellar. Which is a bit like a knight's hall. And here we can have large gatherings. It's a bit of a labyrinth down here. Another fireplace which we recreated from the 16th, 17th century with our crest, which is a bear shot through the mouth with an arrow. This was a manor that was a little bit fortified, so it had to withstand sieges from marauding bandits and Tatars, and it had to be able to sustain itself and to defend itself. So that's why we have the water well inside of the house, in the cellar. Now let's go out terrace. Full south, so it's very, very bright, which is a beautiful place to stay. Here again the moat, and from here I would like to say slowly goodbye. This is one of the 3 villages where my family is present right now. Maybe there will be an occasion to show you the other 2 villages. One village where we have our main house, which is a bit larger than this one, which I'm working on right now, and another village where we have a collection of houses which we accommodated for the Prince of Wales, where he comes every year to stay for a week to refill his batteries. We feel very honored that we could host the European Historic Houses Facebook Live event, and from here I guess that you will fly over all the way through Europe to Sweden. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.